It's time to get real about Dave Ramsey and the no credit score is best credit score philosophy. I am a mortgage lender, and I can tell you that the no credit score is a best credit score philosophy is really disappointing to people once they get to me. So here's why. And if you guys don't know who Dave Ramsey is, it's definitely worth a quick Google. You know, he's been giving out money advice for decades, and he has some best-selling books. He has a lot of good advice, but he also has a lot of advice that's very linear, and I would say that it doesn't have much faith in you guys. Yeah, in you guys. If the only way a person can remain debt-free is if they pay off and close all their credit cards, then that's a big problem, okay? You should aspire to use credit responsibly, okay? You can do that. You can do it, I promise. I know so many people that have had terrible credit and now use credit perfectly, responsibly. They don't have any debt, but they have really high credit scores. That is possible. That should be the goal. So I'm gonna tell you why that should be the goal, and then I'm gonna tell you how you can do it, because I have more faith in you guys. I know that you guys can use credit responsibly. I know that you can build your score responsibly. I know you can do it without getting into debt, and that you don't have to be so dramatic that you close everything and then you end up getting a higher interest rate with a mortgage, because that's what happens. Okay, so you come to me, the mortgage lender, licensed in 46 states, almost 48, and I look at your credit and I go, uh-oh, do you follow Dave Ramsey? And you go, yes. And I go, okay, we got no credit score. This is what we're gonna have to do. So with a conventional mortgage, we have options. We also have options with FHA and VA. So if there's no credit score and we don't have a bunch of collections, like it's just clean, you know, we can use alternative credit. So alternative credit for some programs would be, you know, 12 to 24 months rental history, as well as, you know, utility bills or cell phone bills. Now, what I'll see a lot of in these situations is someone's not paying rent, or they're paying rent in cash and I can't source it. So that kicks them out right there, okay? The other thing is let's say you meet all the parameters, you can provide all the documentation. Fantastic. Well, here's where it gets disappointing for you. So if I'm pricing out a zero credit score loan amount, I am not pricing you out as if you had the best credit score. I am pricing you out as if you had a much lower credit score, because you have no credit score. So the way that lenders look at this is they don't look at this as, oh, this is really risk-free. They look at this as, ooh, this is risky because we really don't have enough documentation. And lenders across the board are doing that. So if you're like, well, I have no credit score, so I'm sure they'll price me out like I'm an 800 for a conventional loan. No, we're not. We're gonna price you out at a 620. 620 is the minimum credit score for a conventional mortgage. That's Fannie and Freddie. And if you have zero credit score, when I'm looking at rates, I'm doing it off of 620. VA and FHA, I believe it's 600. So it's really important for you guys to know that you are being penalized for not having a score in terms of the interest rate. Okay? Now, the difference between a 620 and an 800 credit score on a conventional loan can be very dramatic. It can be 0.5% or 1%. So this is something you guys want to be mindful of. Now, sometimes I'll hear, well, I don't want to go into debt. Why would you? I don't understand that. So here's the thing. Let's say that you guys went through baby steps and you paid off all your debt. Fantastic. Do not close your credit cards. Don't close them. Do this. Here's a couple suggestions. So when people are building their credit, I always tell them, hey, just put a tank of gas or a grocery store trip on the card every single month and pay it off. That's it. Guys, that is it. That is the magic. There's all these forms where they're like, oh, well, you have to show you can charge it off and then slowly pay it down. No, no. I've seen a lot of people build up really high credit scores with a tank of gas and paying it off. Seriously. And I would suggest that you have at least 3 lines of credit. Yeah, you want to know why? Well, let's say that you need a jumbo mortgage. Guess what? Most jumbo investors require at least 3 trade lines. So you really don't want to close those. And it's interesting because, you know, the whole Dave philosophy is on you should never have debt. And we see a similar philosophy with very wealthy people. And, I'll hit those borrowers where they're like, well, I haven't had a credit card in 5 years. Like my company IPO'd, like I don't need one. And I'm like, super cool, but you don't meet the investor guidelines. You're gonna have to find a private banking portfolio deal because you don't have the trade lines that we need. Now, do we have in jumbo some investors that will work with less than 3 trade lines? Yes. Do I have any that will do 0 credit score? No. No, not even brokered. I'm sure there's some sort of hard money deal out there where you could do it, but it's not going to be those beautiful interest rates that we all see online, that we hear about in the news, that our friend got next door. It's not going to be those rates when you don't have a credit score, okay? So, if you're serious about money, and if you're following Dave Ramsey, you're serious about money. You're seriously about being financially successful, and I think that's amazing, okay? Well, part of being financially successful is making sure you get a good interest rate on the biggest purchase you're ever gonna have. And the key to getting a good interest rate on that purchase, right, conventional, jumbo, is having a good credit score. So, I urge you, do not close those cards, guys. You can do this responsibly. Put on a tank of gas and pay it off. Now, if you put on a tank of gas and then you buy 15 sweaters and 20 pairs of shoes and you can't afford to pay it off, guess what? You have more work that you need to be doing, but that's inner work. Just saying, it's like, it's like dieting, right? I don't know why, as women, we just go to dieting. Cultural, I'm gonna blame it on society. It's like dieting, right? If all of a sudden you say, I'm never gonna have cake again, I'm never gonna have this again, it never works, right? It works for a certain period of time, but it never works forever. And just banning, saying there'll never be cake anywhere around me, it's not super realistic. Whereas if you utilize stuff with moderation, like, oh, you know what? I am gonna have that piece of cake, but maybe I'll be on the treadmill for an extra 25 hours. Oh, I said that, didn't I? Sorry. So, oh my God, do you know how long it takes on a treadmill to burn off a piece of cake? It's like days, but you get it. You get the point, right? So you have the piece of cake and then maybe you have a lighter dinner, right? Okay, credit, you guys are gonna put something on it and you're gonna pay it off and you're not gonna go crazy. You're not gonna rack up debt. You're not gonna book that Aruba vacation. You're just gonna put one thing on and you're gonna pay it off. Now, once you're comfortable doing that for 6 to 12 months, I actually had someone comment on my YouTube, Citizen4, yep, I'm taking this from you, and he was saying about the whole Dave situation, he's like, I've made money because of my points on my credit card. He's like, I pay it off every month, but I put stuff I'm gonna have to pay on it no matter what on those credit cards. So my utilities, my gas, my reoccurring bills that I know I'm gonna have to pay no matter what, I put those on my credit card, I pay off my credit card every single month, and I utilize the points to reduce my debt. Great, great. Now, if you just finished the baby step program, you're probably not gonna be ready for that level yet, but you will get there. And what I see a lot of is that people who have those 760, 800 credit scores, that's what they're doing. They're putting their everyday expenses on credit cards and making sure they're paid off in full at the end of the month. So if you have no credit score, can we still do a mortgage? Yes, we can. So I don't want you guys to feel like I'm dissuading you. I'm not. We can still do a mortgage. Feel free to reach out. If you talk to another lender that says, no, they just don't know all those guidelines. I do, because Dave and I seem to attract the same people who care about their money, and I love that. I care about your money. My team cares about your money. We don't want you wasting money. So don't be dissuaded if you've already lost that credit score. But if you haven't lost that credit score yet, I beg of you, one tank of gas and pay it off every single month. So thank you for watching. If you guys have loan questions, want to get pre-approved, anything, feel free to pick a time on my calendar. I'm always happy to talk to you guys, or leave a comment. I try to respond to everything. Thank you.